In this video, I'll be talking about books and resources that are useful during MBBS. I'll start with the subject anatomy. BDC, BD Chaurasia, Vishram Singh. These are the traditional two books which are commonly used in Indian schools. For neuroanatomy, you can refer to Vishram Singh. And Gray's Anatomy is the standard book which many students use. I just want to say you can just Google this name, Harold Ellis. He is like FRCS UK, I think. He has written many books about anatomy. You can refer to these books. These are a standard in UK. Many people use this for MRCP exams also, MRCP, MRCS exams. Very good books on anatomy, basically clinical anatomy, surgical anatomy. And for histology, osteology, embryology, Inder Singh has written lots of books. Histology specifically, you can refer to Neelkant Kote, a shorty copy or what do you say, shortcut book on histology. You will be needing H&D pencils also. And for osteology, you will require a bone set. Usually you can buy this bone set from your seniors. I think approximately a bone set should cost around 5k. Suppose seniors in your colleges are charging more, I think you can share with a friend and share the amount also. During dissection, usually Cunningham's is the standard, but many colleges will provide their own dissection books. I guess it's better to follow whatever the college is saying. Otherwise, Cunningham is a very good standard book. Netter's Atlas. It's very important to use an atlas during anatomy years when you are studying anatomy. Netter's is a very good atlas. There are other atlases in the market, but Netter's diagrams I found it to be helpful. And you can search for Auckland anatomy. This guy in 90s was like a plastic surgeon in UK, and he has made dissection videos, very precise dissections and very well articulated. Ackland's anatomy is a very good resource. I'll make it a star mark. Next, coming to physiology, you can refer to A.K. Jain. G.K. Pal is a very good book, very bulky. These are the two standard books which students might be using, Guyton and Kenong. But if you want a shortcut book, these two are the go-to books. Venkatesh Sudhakar and Sembulingam. I personally prefer Venkatesh Sudhakar over Sembulingam. And coming to practicals, you will be requiring a STET, and you can follow G.K. Pal Practical Physiology book. Biochemistry, Vasudevan and Satyanarayan are the two standard books which are usually used. The shortcut book for biochemistry, shortcut book basically means which you can use during your tests or exams, but I wouldn't recommend you to read these kinds of shortcut books from the quit to go. You'll be better off reading them during exam times. R.M. Prasad is the shortcut book for biochemistry. Pathology, Robbins is the gold standard for pathology, if I must say. There are video lecture series called Pathoma. You can just Google about Pathoma. It is by Dr. Hussein Sattar and basically for USMLE Step 1 review, but it's very good high yield material for pathology. What I would suggest is you watch this Pathoma videos and then read Robbins. You'll understand them better. Other pathology books which are usually used are Harsh Mohan. Good books during exams. Suppose you are not able to read Robbins, you can go with Harsh Mohan. And for practicals, Harsh Mohan is a very good book. I'll make it a star. Regarding microbiology and parasitology, Apurva Shastri is a very good book. Other traditional books used are Anant Narayan and Baveja. Baveja is like point-wise book, and I feel Apurva is a very good book. There will be two books you must remember, one for microbiology and next for parasitology. Don't forget to ask about parasitology book when you are buying in bookstore. For pharmacology is KD Tripathi. This is the standard book. If you want to follow internationally accepted well-known book, it's Katzang. And shortcut book for this subject is Tarashan Bag. Forensic medicine and toxicology, Narayan Reddy. Narayan Reddy has authored two books, Essentials and Synopsis. Depends, if you are interested in forensic, you can start by reading Essentials, and during exam time you can shift to Synopsis book. Otherwise you can just follow synopsis. It's enough, I would say. VVPLI is also a very good book for forensic, has lots of images. PSM, preventive and social medicine, also called community medicine. The gold standard for PSM is PARC. Usually people follow PARC. Very good book, must read. And Vivek J is a recent popular book which is growing in popularity. For Opthal you can follow Khurana or Parsons, and for practicals you can follow Dada Pair. ENT you can follow Dhingra, and for practicals you can follow Vikasina. I think during ENT practicals you'll be requiring a head mirror. Usually head mirror reflects light of a bullseye lamp. Either that, or I would suggest you to buy a headlight, which is better. This shines light directly without having the need to reflect the light from a light source, and you can use it in other situations also other than ENT. Suppose you want to do a PR or want to examine perineal region or perineum, if your hands are occupied, this becomes a good light source. You need to buy a good torch and a set of tuning forks. I think if you buy a set, you will be getting a set of 5 tuning forks. But otherwise you can buy 256, 512 or 1024 Hz. These are the ones which are most commonly used. Coming to medicine, you can read Harrison. Suppose if you are not able to read Harrison, you can go with Davidson. Harrison is a very huge book. I think even you refer this book during post-graduation years. So Harrison is a very standard book for medicine. Usually people say read Harrison for medicine. If you can't read Harrison, you can go with Davidson. Choti copy or the shortcut book for medicine is Mantappa. You can read this during your exam times. It's basically Q&A type book. For practicals, Hutchison is a must read. Very good book. Other books which you can follow for medicine are Alagappan, Archipalor or Kundu. Again, this Kundu is Q&A type book. For surgery, standard book is Bailey and Lau. You can follow SRB also and Manipal manual. Usually Bailey's is the gold standard for surgery during undergraduate days. Otherwise you can refer to SRB Sri Ram Bhatt also. For practicals, Das is the standard book. And I would say Ghanshyam Vaidya. Ghanshyam Vaidya has uploaded a few videos on YouTube. You can follow it for surgery practicals. I think he has around 3 types of videos. One is operative surgeries and ideal Q&A type case presentations, and another thing which he has is physical examination videos. Physical examination, like how to examine a thyroid case, how to examine varicose. He demonstrates all this stuff. The other book which you can use for surgery practical is Raja Mahendran. There are 2 books, one for long cases and short cases. For OBG, Datta and Gynec Shaw's, these are the standard books. Mudliar and Menon is quite used for practicals, or also you can substitute for obstetrics. For practicals, you can use Hepzibah. Coming to pediatrics, Guy is the standard book which is used for pediatrics. You can also use IAB textbooks. For practicals, Arujami is a good book. There are other books, Chadda, Mehar Pansing also. Anesthesia, Ajay Yadav. Radiology, Mac Mayuraran Kulkarni. I think he's an Arab faculty. Ortho, for UG you can refer to Maheshwari, and for practicals you can use Das. Dharma, Nina Khanna. Psychiatry you can refer to Neeraj Ahuja. For university exams, suppose you are an above average student, you need not worry, you would have studied. Suppose you are the type of student who has no idea where to start and you are questioning, you can follow the following things which I mentioned for average student, but you will have to work really hard. Suppose you are an average student, I would say passing is easy. I repeat, passing is easy. What I would suggest you to do is do PYQs or previous year questions. from the main paper for 3 years and supplementary papers of the past 2 years. You can allocate approximately 1 week per subject. And what I would advise you to do is write down all these questions which you are solving from the PYQs down in a book and revise it minimum 2 to 3 times before going to exams. And some of the general tips which I would tell you to do during exam times is avoid eating outside food as much as possible. Suppose this is the exam date, at least 3 weeks before the exam date you need to stop eating outside food, and after exam usually there will be practicals and viva. I would advise you to avoid eating food until this time. We don't want to fall sick during exam times, right? And sleep. You should be ideally sleeping around 7 to 8 hours per day. Sleep directly affects concentration and your thinking ability. Take a nap if it helps you, and study regularly last 3 weeks. Other things which I would advise is avoid gadgets, limit the use of mobile, tab. If you are not able to do this, basics it is recommended. Avoid music with lyrics, instrumentals, I think it's okay. And on the exam day, there is no need to use color pencils for diagrams. Keep long essays at the last and write in headings. What I mean by write in headings is you can start by giving an introduction or definition, etiology, pathogenesis. Then you can start off by giving a flow chart, or usually incorporate flow charts or diagrams in this pathogenesis, clinical features. Next is complications, diagnosis, treatment, prevention, and for etiology, I would advise you to segregate based on this. I myself have devised an mnemonic CIVT. You can divide etiology or the causes like congenital, idiopathic, or inflammatory, infection, inflammation, vascular causes, trauma, neoplastic, metabolic, such as diabetes and other things. I would advise you to take a screenshot of this and write long essays in this format only. And during internship and post MBBS, I would suggest General Practice by Ghanshyam Vaidya. Very good book. I would say star mark if I must. Now coming to my advice, I would say explore the books based on suggestions by other students or seniors, but don't feel compelled to use them. Some feel like they must use a particular book because everyone's using it, but don't do this. Choose what works for you. I would recommend you to go to college library to check out books, or I think you can download PDF from the internet before buying. LibGen is a good source for downloading PDF of books, although not legal I would say, but you get most of the PDFs for free. This is the link for LibGen. I would also advise you to just buy one main book which you have decided to use and not to buy multiple books for the same subjects. Waste of money. Instead, I would suggest you to use PDF or borrow from seniors. A few resources which are used during med school. If suppose you are writing USMLE or Indian PG exams based on your goals, I would say you can use USMLE resources during your first 2 years of MBBS. It's not mandatory, but if you're writing or preparing for USMLE, gold standard is UFAP, UWorld, First Aid, Pathoma. For First Aid, accompanying videos are Boards and Beyonds, Bootcamp. These are good resources. Bootcamp was heavily promoted on Reddit and it's said better than Boards and Beyonds, but you can try out the resources and suit. You can try out the resources and use whichever you find useful. Pathoma, as I mentioned previously, also very good resource. Anki is a memorizing tool. Then there are other resources like Sketchy, Micropharma, Lecturio, Kaplan, made ridiculously simple series. And these are a series of books which are made ridiculously simple, as the name suggests. And for Indian PG exams, there are traditional coaching institutes like DAMS, Bhatia. Even these provide online like e-Gurukul and all those stuff. But online, I would say Maro has dominated the space. Prep Ladder, Cerebellum Academy, BTR series by Zainab Vora, part of Cerebellum Academy. Other resources are Unacademy, Diginerve, and recently NEET UG coaching centers have also entered the PG space like Alan, Akash, Peter Physicwala. But remember, it's even before all these resources were there, people used to join dance in Bhatia only, or some used to read at home, and they used to get a good rank. These days, people use most of these resources and still wind up disappointed in their scores or need PG rank, whatever it is. So it's a cliche, I know, but it's not the resource which you use, but how you use it. I would say my personal favorite out of all these resources is First Aid. First Aid, I'm referring to for USMLE Step 1. Very good, concise information book. You can use it for both USMLE as well as Indian PG exams. Very concise book. So a few of the helpful websites and links which are usually free are orthopaedics, some physical diagnosis, ECG. Most of the ECG which I practice is using this ECG from Harvard. Very good app or website link for practicing ECGs. Hematology Atlas, Learning Radio, or Radiopedia also you can use. Then RCEM Learning, then Oxford Medical Anatomy. These are some of the free links which I found helpful during my MBBS times. And thus concludes the module.